Right. So, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Aratamak at Authentic Photography, and we are going to be editing this picture here. I have my navigator. The red box will show you where I am on the image when it's zoomed in, like super zoomed in. Alright, you may not be able to know where I am. So, let's head into it. Control and J, duplicate the layer. And we're gonna start to edit. So I'm gonna do let's edit this photo together, or come edit with me, however you wanna say it, right? So grabbing the ellipse tool, you press M for it, and zoom in right here. Make the shape of the ellipse to the pupil of the eye. Alright, just like so. And press Alt and Control to get the multiplier and open up another one. Alright. Yep, and cut it just right there. Alright. And what we have is the shape of the pupil, and we could make a layer mask. So what we have done, if you hold Alt over this black mask here, you would see that the pupil of the eye is on a mask by itself. So what we're gonna do is make another ellipse over this pupil of the eye. Hold Alt and Shift and cut it right there, and make sure our back color here, or fore color here, is white. And by doing that, holding Control and backspace, and that will make a layer here also. But this Control and D to get rid of the dotted lines. So we have just started with the pupil of the eyes, and what we'll notice is that it's pretty sharp, so we could do this feather into about 1. That looks good to me. Alright, press enter. Good to go. And we're going to bring out the main focus of this young lady here. It's her birthday today. Alright, happy birthday to her. May God continue to bless her. Alright, and we're going to add a bit of sharpening. So we go on a new layer, and we select the sharpening, which is by the eraser. No, somewhere here. I haven't been in Photoshop for a while, as you can see. Oh, look at it right here, right? Sharpen tool. Nice. And what we're gonna do is brush on the sharpening, right? Just like this, right? All around the edges. And we come here and do the same thing. So what we're doing is adding more emphasis on the eyes. Now this is obviously too much, right? And that is because you're zoomed in, 1, and 2, it's all over, right? It's all on the eyelids on top here, it's all around here. So what we want to do is clip it to this layer 1 here, the eyes here. I'll call this eyes, EYES. And this layer now we'll hold Control, Alt and G and clip it so that it will take the same shape as what is on the mask here, this layer mask here, right? And we could now use the opacity and never hold it at 100, right? You could do like about 65, that looks good to me, right? And slightly adding on effects. So what we're gonna do now, I want a gray layer, so I'm going to make a new layer, obviously. So we could call this Sharpen, S-H-A-R-P-E-N. And head over to head over to, just give me a minute. Right. Head over to image. Add image. Wow. Fill. Alright, that's what I'm looking for. Right, so we don't want the fill on the sharpening. So we click on this layer up here and we hit edit, fill, and there we go. Then we hit this, we change the blend mode to overlay. Alright, so what we're gonna do is do some dodge and burn the old school way, right? So we have on dodge, so let's have it burn. Alright, so around the rim here, it's gonna make it slightly darker, ever so slightly. Alright. On top here by the eyelashes. Don't be afraid to go overboard on top by the eyelashes and underneath, because in the end, we would be creating a clipping mask like we did with the first one and clip it onto the previous layer, right? So it adds more detail and depth in those eyes there. So due to lighting conditions and maybe, you know, the camera, you may experience, you know, stuff that you have not seen, which is the around her eyelids being so light. So let's hold Control, Alt and G, and there we have it. It snaps immediately before and after. It snaps on. So there we have more focus and emphasis on the eyes. The eyes are the focus of this photo, right? So let's go to dodge and burn, and we will zoom in once again and lighten some of the areas in the eyes here, ever so slightly. Right, more the bottom and more across. And our eyes are brown, right? But due to the area we were in and the amount of light coming in, it looks gray here. All right, before and after, before and after. Right now, we would go to hue and saturation. All right, and what we're choosing is colorize. Now we don't want this on the whole image, so we could click here, and this is a clipping mask, and zoom in. All right, now we have her eyes, and let us get that nice brown tone. All right, but we're not seeing it, right? So what we could do is hit the saturation to about 55, and it's more bold now. Then we go slightly down to the just around like 27, right? Obviously, this is too strong, right? So we're working step by step. Yes, it may look too strong. Yes, it may look too powerful. But when we adjust the opacity and also, you know, put the colors where it's supposed to be, because nobody's eyes color leak out on the outside. So we can take your brush tool, go on this layer mask here, and remove that color from outside of her eyelids. All right, and also on top of the eyelids here. Nice. All right, I'll go to the next one. All right, so let's come back. Just take your time, slide. Don't try to do it in one stroke. You may have to undo that entire stroke. Right? Now, there are certain areas that we know aren't brown, and that is inside the white here. The white areas will not be brown. It might have a tint of blue in it. And also the center of the eye here, which is supposed to be black. Alright. And it gives it a more realistic finish. Alright. Now we could play the blend modes or just decrease it. Just decrease it. Just decrease the opacity. So I like this one, but it's too unrealistic. Let's go back to normal, and yeah, these are a little too. It really looks like contact. So we'll go to normal, and we'll go to opacity, and we'll take our time and drag this up here. So this is 100, and this is about 65. Let's see here now. This is a little more realistic. So what I'll do though, I'll drop this to 45. All right. So just to tone down those colors in those eyes, so it's not as before. So let's put this in our group. Control and J. Right, before and after, before and after. So it's not dull, and it has that slight brown to it, right? So there we have it. That's our first step into this photo, and we can call this eyes, EYES. So now we're gonna make a gray layer, right? Black and white, and we could zoom in to see what are we really looking for, right? Blemishes. That's what we're looking for. So we bring down the reds and we bring down the yellows, and you can see all these little buttons here. We want to take care of them, right? It's common for anyone to have buttons, anyone to have a little breakout at any time of the year, especially females, where they have a lot of hormones to deal with. All right. Let's open a curve adjustment layer and carry this up just a tad bit and put it below the black and white layer. Put this in a group. I can turn it off and on, right? So I can see it pretty good. I go above the eyes layer, create a layer, mask, and then I have a Wacom tablet. And this is what I use my tablet for, because this is a lot of, you know, small things to edit. Right, so I'll turn the tablet like this. Just give me a moment here while I adjust the tablet. Right, so I am going to use the spot healing brush. Right, I'm gonna zoom in and clear up all these little blemishes here. All right, so it works before and after. Let's take off the gray before and after. Right, you can't even tell it's there. So there's this part here we could do without the gray layer. So we could just take our time and move over any area that we see. Right, you could move from a certain area just so your eyes could adjust and see everything if you're not finding anything, right? So you can keep on going back and forth. is to find a comfortable zone for your eyes and your hands to adjust and to work as one in unison, right? So let's check before and after what we did so far, before and after. Right, so this is the first step, and we're taking it step by step. We don't want any one powerful cleanup method, because sometimes it leaves, stuff undone, or it affects other parts of the picture. So after this, you'll do some frequency separation, which will further clean up what we have already done, which will actually make it look more uniform and much more realistic than, that plastic looking image. We don't want our image to look like that, right? Before and after. So a lot of the buttons have been cleared up. It's just for skin blemishes, really. And some of these are just color tones, Some of them are lights and dark. So I know she has a mole here, so I will leave this mole here because ladies love their moles, right? Alright, so I have this on lighting. So what I'm gonna do is put this on normal, so I could actually kind of take off the light parts. So if you have it on lighting, you could actually lighten dark areas. But that's not what I want to do. I want to remove certain spots. Alright, we create another layer. Clean plate, clean slate, clean start. And we would be doing this. So I would speed up this part, alright, because you get the gist of it. If you want, you could press R and you could rotate the picture, right? If you want to stop, press escape and we'll go back to normal, and you could also go back to the spot healing brush. So I will be enlarging the size of the spot healing brush and minimizing it. Alright. So I'm going to start a speed up here and you could enjoy. What we're gonna do here, right? We could come back from that speed at the side. What we could do here now is we just tackling these stray hairs, right? And as you can see, you saw different shapes there when I was, clearing it up. And that is the effects on the tablet, right? The more you press is the more you have a line, a fat line. So if I go really small here, you see a thin line, and if I press more, you see a bigger line, right? So that's just me clearing up the hair there. With many ways to do this, you could also use the clone stamp tool. Alright, we could also cut out the background and all kind of thing. We could do a lot of methods. However, this is, by far the simplest and the easiest method to do, right? So what I'm gonna do is hold Control, Alt, Shift and E, and we will see the before and after for what we have done so far. Right, before and after. So let's zoom in a bit there. Before and after. Before and after. Right? So I am also going to create another layer, and I am going to liquefy. Right? So we're gonna do some adjustments here. So I'm gonna just, tuck in the face a little bit. Just be careful of how you use the liquefy tool, because as you can see, it is also modifying the airing, right? So I'm trying to give her remember certain angles we use in the cameras, some photos don't actually look that way. So it's a shot from above, right? And we're gonna just, increase the size of the hair here. And later on, we'll add highlights and shadows, right? That's it for here. What we could do is just bring down the shoulders just a tad bit, to give her the more feminine look and not too, strong. Right? Again, these things could be affected by the angle that was chosen for the picture to be shot. So we have before and after, before and after. All right, that looks good to me. So what we're gonna do now? Right now, we have to do some frequency separation, right? And by doing the frequency separation, we can fix a lot of the blemishes, a lot of the skin colorations. We could adjust a lot of those things, right? So that's what we're gonna do now. We are going to do some frequency separation. So let's look at it before and after again. Right, so you notice we took off the neck, but it's, a little funky. Under that, Control, Alt, Shift and E, and then Control and J. Put that in a group. Turn off the first one. So layer 8 here, we're gonna go to, I'm gonna create a shortcut, right? Keyboard shortcuts. Go into Filter. Then we head to Blur, Gaussian Blur. I'm going to hold Control and the more sign and hit OK. So when I hit Control and more, I get a blur, right? So I'm going to drop this to like about 5.8. All right, that looks good to me. And I'm going to take this layer here, adjust, edit. Right, so what we want to do is apply image. And when we go to apply image now, we're applying it layer 8 and we're doing subtract, right? And you want your settings in subtract, the opacity, the scale and the offset to be like this, right? It's okay. And then we go to linear light. So this is what we have. This is how your image is supposed to look when we finish. Now we're gonna do some lasso tool work on this. So let's see this area here. I'm gonna bring the frequency separation. Well, the Gaussian blur, right? But it's on the wrong layer. So I'm gonna put it on layer 8 and hit that like about 32. We could try 35, or we could even try 42. Right? Different areas, apply different strengths. So this area here, it's completely gone. So the entire part is completely gone with the blemishes, right? And the color, discoloration, and all these kind of things that may happen through camera. Could be through that time of the month for the ladies. But for this area here, I wouldn't use such a strong blur. I would use like 14 because it's close to the jersey, so you don't want the color leaking over, right? So now we're gonna target this area here, this area right here, and we could use this like about 21. We'll zoom out sometimes. 21 looks good to me. Yeah, that cleaned up a lot there, right? and we do this area here. Press shift to add in a selection and control, and we do this about 14. Yeah. This also this side here. So you're doing the nose right now. Let's focus on the nose and in between the eyelids. Move this layer here. So you get before and after. Nice. So we're getting ahead. We're moving along in this image and cleaning up everything that we can, right? So it's much better. Much better. Now I also frequency separate close. Why? You see this little rumple mark here? We're not having that. And with close, you could actually ramp it up to like 70, and it will like iron the clothes for you. So no more worrying about clothes, untidy clothes, or you may come on photo shoot with your clothes set and ready, but because of doing different postures with different people, it will obviously get rumpled, untidy. And I just fix it and clean it up. And that jersey looks brand new. Before and after. Before and after. I could even come down here and play with this. Like, not so much, like about 14. Or we could hit this about 35. There we go. Before and after. So this is frequency separation. And now let's see the image from what we have done with frequency separation. So there's before and after. Before and after. And we get in there. Right? So let's now create a curve mask. So we're going to do some dodge and burn in the new era, the new way we used to do it, right? I want this outside of the frequency separation. And we hold control and hit I, and we get a black mask there. This is going to be dodge. And we're doing another curves layer, and this one is going to be burn, right? Control and I. So dodge and burn, we could really bring back some of the stuff that we lost from frequency separation. So let's go. And the eyes, you can even start with the eyes and brighten the eyes. Set the opacity to about 10 on the dodge layer. Oh, yes, the dodge layer. This is the burn. Labeling it makes it easier, right? So let's go. Before and after. So that looks good to me. Just lightening a lot of the parts of the eyes right here. What we can do when we play with the whites, we could do a selective color and use the whites to brighten the eyes, but hit it a more blue tone than the yellow tone, right? So we just moving along on the areas that we may have seen makeup artists, have done the work, right? And we could also watch the bigger image here while we edit in these small areas. So this was a little too much, right? So what we could do, we could just come here and make the brush a little smaller, 0.4. and we can change it according to suits. And we can just press 1 to get 10. Come across the lips here, which had the gloss. So this has to have a extra shine here. Right? Looks beautiful to me. And over across the lips and just a tad bit to shape the outline of the person. That looks good to me. And there's also some under the eyelids here. Nice highlights. Right, so what we can do now is that we notice the light is coming from the left side, or is it the right side? So there's a way to find out. You go to threshold and you drop it. So right, so let's change the opacity to, not the opacity, the blend mode to soft light, right? And the light now is coming from the left side, or this side here, right? Left side. So now we know, okay, where the light is coming from. Right? So we know where to highlight on the cheeks now. Alright? So there'll be more light on this side of the face. The left side actually looks a tad too bright, so let's break that down. Alright. A little bit on the chin here. Alright, so let's go to burn now. So burn is a bit different. Burn, we can bring out the eyelashes and then set this like about 30. Bring down the size of the brush. Keep brushing to bring out the eyelashes. Right? And by bringing out the eyelashes, we also enhance the beauty in the eyes itself. Right? Now, we could also put this at 10 and go alongside the highlight. And, you know, darks and lights could shape the image, which helps us to shape the person's face, like contouring and what they do in makeup, right? It's actually the same thing. Shaping, and just by what I did there, we shaped more or less a broader smile on the client, right? This is before and after. Before and after. So let's what we'll do, we'll also do the jewelry. So there are dark parts in the jewelry, and if we darken it even more, the light parts will show even better. Right? Now we don't want to go overboard. We could go like about 40. Right? And then the lights now, we could highlight the lights here. Which makes it ever more beautiful and engaging. You know, you could just watch it and see like, ah, this looks good to me, right? So you can minimize the size of the brush. Minimize, maximize, whichever one is better for you. right? Adding back some shadows, some details there. And there we go. Now we could also neaten it, our selection, because it's lapping over the skin. Alright, so a tad bit. Do hold the click and drag it down, right down, you know, and just let go sometimes. Do it on the same thing on the other side. And we have before and after. There's still shape in it, there's still beauty in it. Now this sometimes takes hours, right? This sometimes takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of everything. Right, there we go. Now we could, you know, bring back some of the shape here by using the darks. And that's too much, I suppose like about 10. And the shape in the video. Alright, now let's do the hair. Now the hair, we could do it two ways, right? Before we go to the hair, let's go to the eyelids, dodge and burn the eyelashes, and give it just a little line here to bring out the eyelashes. Could do it once more, right? It shapes it, creates that nice defined shape. Right, so we are getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. Now, let us create a new layer, right? Go on the paintbrush, opacity, click 0, so you'll get the opacity as 100, and paint our entire hair white, right? All on top here. We want this whole area of hair white. Then we're gonna blur it like about 35, that looks good to me. And we will open the layer itself. And we're gonna use blend lift. So we're gonna click at the bottom of the blend lift here. If we move this layer, it will just, you know, disperse. But if we hold Alt and we drag this one down, right, like right here, and we drag this next one down, we get something, right? So we could continue dragging this one a little bit down here, and this one a little bit down here. Right? Then we could create another layer. Hit X and erase all the white that where we don't want it. Right? So just small strokes. Alright. Nice. And we could change this blend mode to soft light. So the hair has a bit of highlight in it, right? Now what we could do with the dodge layer. This we could drop this to like about 35. What we could do with the dodge layer is actually put it on 30 and highlight some of these Highlight some of these parts in here. The curls to bring them out more, ever so slightly. If we could take off this layer here. Zoom in when you need to, and you keep going. There are a lot of curls, so you can do the method I just did, or you can do this method, or you can combine the two, right? But when we add color to this, it will have a much more defined look. But right now, I'm just bringing out some of the curls here. And she has many. All right. Nice. Before and after. So what we're gonna do here now? Is actually do some selective color. So we're gonna choose white, right? And white now, we're gonna adjust the colors. So this white is more red, cyan to this bluish tone here, right? I'm gonna go more on this side here. And this could be adjusted for different photos. You get a different look, right? So when we click before and after, it kind of separates and whitens the eyes and all of these nice stuff, right? Then we go to selective color once again, and we go to neutrals. So neutrals now, same color adjustment, but you know, is what we want to add more of, right? And these are what we could do to say like we are color grading somewhat, right? And we get in there. So selective color is a very powerful tool in Photoshop to actually change the colors within a photo, right? And blacks is where we could really bring out the black color in an image. It's beautiful, right? Nice. And I like to leave a tint of blue and carry it down. Control and G. And before and after. So if we really check where we came from, before and after, before and after, before and after. Right, so we got pretty okay there. We did good, right? Still more to do. So what we can do is on this layer, take off this, right? I don't like how it looks. So in the here, we could come back with a brush and B for the brush and X, and then the opacity 30 and kind of tone down the highlights in the here, right? Nice. Now, what we could even do even more is her skin tone. That is not her skin tone, right? So let us go to reds, where the skin tones usually reside, right? Zoom in a bit and let's turn it up, right? So we're bringing it up a tad bit. Slight magenta, more yellow, less yellow, right? And then we go to yellow and bring it up just a tad bit there, and the magenta, we could leave the magenta in this one. Now this affects the entire picture, and we don't want that, right? No. We want just on her. So what we're gonna do is click Control and I, right? And pin this on, or select, as a matter of fact, which is a better option. Select her face, right? And what we could do is minus the eyes. But we don't know the color, not that. Minus the white in the eyes. Right? And there we go. So now we can hit Control and backspace. Control and D. So we get that color on her. Right? And we could even, you know, play with it even more or readjust it to suit. Right? Go back to the reds. Bring it back how it was and really dive into this color. Right? So she's brown skin, right? So she'll have a little, yeah. Nice. This looks good to me, right? What we want to do also is the picture has a blue tint in it, and I really don't like that, right? Create another layer, take the paintbrush, go to the colors, go to the more golden colors here, right? Take the paintbrush and enlarge it to the center and put that color there at 100%, right? Four clicks, that's good, right? Then we turning this into the sun, right? We're using Control and A, and now we're gonna spread this across the image. Are we doing that to give it that more daytime feeling, right? And give it the image of it coming from the side. Right? And that looks good to me. And we could even bring this down to like over 65. And in this corner here, we just hit this. One brush, create a new one, right? So these colors here could go in its own group. We could call that the sun. Right, and now to blend it even more, it's all about blending, right? We could use color balance, and we could go in the shadows, and we could hit the shadows, the blue. Looks good to me. A little green, or should it be magenta? Just a little blue, and then some cyan. In the mid-tones, we could right, so the mid-tones as her tone, right? So we could hit it a little red and a little magenta and some yellow. And in the highlights also, it could be a little red. Yeah. With some of the yellow and some of the, just leave it at 0, right? So we get in there, all right? This looks way better, way better, right? So you group all of these. So before and after, and after. Right, now we could add another color, we could add a blue at the bottom of the picture. Do the same thing. Control and U if you want to change the color, the blue. Right? And Control and T, right, to spread this color more at the bottom here. Ever so slightly. Right, and we could bring this down to like 45. And that looks good to me. Right, so I use that gradient fill to see how it will actually look, right? Adding it on top, and we got some good results. So you could bring this straight down and bring it up slightly. Right? But I think the gradient fill actually looks better on her skin tone. So what I'm about to do is open these layers and copy the mask I use on her face. All right, so there you go. So what we could do now is carry this down as a tad bit. And it's like about 45. That looks good to me. Control, Shift, Alt, and E. Right. So, guys, gradients did it again, right? Before and after. All right. Now we could do some sharpening, right? So, Control and G. And we could just go on image, adjust image brightness, carry down the contrast, -50. Filter, other, high pass, 2.7 looks good to me. Filter, linear light. And we have just sharpened this image, right? So it's a little too sharp. So we hit Control and I, and we want the sharpness on her face. Majority of it on her face, right? And then drop this opacity to about 30, and that looks good to me. Now we could duplicate this layer and Control and I, Control X, press X, backspace and Control. And now we could focus on the hair to bring some more details into the hair, right? If you would like to, let's see how it looks. Before and after. I will also use levels to do a little adjustment. Right. So levels, now we could darken some stuff here. Alright, no need to brighten anything there. This looks better. This could also go, this is 30 as well. No, so I'll put this at 30. Why not? I can delete this there. right? Let me go back to using the blacks. So I'm just doing final touches right now. All right, and I'm trying to improve the color in the hair just a tad bit pretty. And there we have it, before and after. Could bring this down to like about 45. There it is, guys, the final image. And we're finished here. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. To Authentic Photography, where we edit stuff in Lightroom and Photoshop. Later. Shalom.